I concentrate on Pawan Putra Bajrang Bali. Om Atulita Baladhamam Swarna Shaila Badiham Dhanujvan Krishanam Gyaninama Graganyam Sakal Gun Nidhanam Vanaranam Dhisham Raghupati Prabhutam Vatajatam Namami. Om Bandhu Pavan Kumar Khalban Pavak Gyan Ghan Jasu Hriday Agar Basihi Ram Sharachapadhara. Om Shri Hanumate Namaha. Boli Shri Pavan Putra Hanuman Ki. Members of the head table, members of the Dharma Mandal, the Pandits of Swaha, all Pancha executives, all special invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. After witnessing and enjoying the various presentations and enjoying to such an extent, with music, dance, etc., to change your mood could be a bit difficult. But I have to change your mood a little bit to try to assimilate what I want to put you here today. Now, we have been having Indian celebrations, Indian Arrival Day celebrations for many years, as you heard earlier on, 20 years. And most of the times, everywhere the celebrations take the form of dance and song and music, etc., which we are very proud to maintain. Our ancestors brought with them 170 years ago. But I want to ask the question, is that all that they brought with them? Song and dance, music, the cultural aspect? And of course the answer is no. They brought with them different values, impacting upon different aspects of our lives. It's just that we have been focusing on the cultural aspects most times. So this evening, I want to take a little twist away from the cultural aspect and to focus upon the philosophical, the spiritual, which to me very essential. And I do so because of the theme itself, which says, Dharma Phal Purna Kal. Dharma Phal Purna Kal. The fruits that accrue out of today's Dharma will bring tomorrow's fulfillment. Now, these 4 words are so very essential, very important, full of depth. Time would not allow, under these circumstances, to fully elaborate upon the 4 words to the extent that I would like to. But I start off with the word dharma, which is a very, very much misunderstood and misrepresented word. Most people interpret dharma to be religion. So we say we maintain our dharma, meaning that I go to temple, I do my pujas and so on. That is but one aspect of it. Dharma is an indefinable. And this is why I want to focus on it, because what will be the fruits of this indefinable dharma? Dharma phal, what is it? So we look at dharma. And I've been putting a sort of, not a definition, but a brief explanation as to what dharma is. Dharma, superficially translated, means religion. But in a deeper meaning, it is the inmost constitution by which a person is supposed to live. The inmost constitution by which a person is supposed to live. And to put it in simpler terms, each person fits into society in various capacities. Each person, a young man for instance, he is a son, he is a brother, a husband, a father, a friend, a worker in society. In each sphere into which he fits, he has a certain set of duties, responsibilities, obligations to fulfill. The sum total of all these constitutes his dharma. Religion is but a small part. A person could be a very deeply praying person, but failure as a son, or as a father, or as a brother, or as a worker, etc., you are not maintaining your dharma. I want to establish this up front. Dharma, really, is a set of duties, obligations that we all bound by and we're supposed to maintain. Now, our ancestors, they came 170 years ago, and the focus has been, they worked hard in the sugar fields, and, we try to maintain, we try to preserve the various utensils that they used, the chulha, the chimta, the pukhani, the tawa. And every year, if it's at least once per year, in the Revival Day time, everybody speaks about all these things, bring them out. But do you realize that behind all these, there's an attitude that accompanies everything? What is the attitude I'm talking about? Imagine our ancestors living in India and coming to Trinidad, a totally new location, new experience, new circumstances, with nothing, so to speak. And yet they had the resilience to make compromises, to innovate, to create so many new situations where they can survive and lay a foundation for us, today's generation. Their dharma in the past brings our fulfillment today. The dharma pearl that they planted, or the seeds they planted way back in the past, today redounds to our benefit. Purnakal. We have completeness, we have fulfillment. But we must look a little bit at the attitudes, the characteristics, the qualities that they possessed. And I am saying, let's reflect. Do we as a people, as descendants of such great ancestry, maintain these principles, these values, these characteristics? Do we inculcate them within ourselves? And I go to Sri Ramcharitamanas, which is one of the great texts that they brought with them. I don't have a text with me, but what I want to say to you, I have in my head. So I'm going to bring it out. I go to that situation where Sri Ram was on the battlefield about to fight with Ravan. Sri Ram was barefooted, as we say, no armor, just bow and arrow. Ravan sitting on his chariot, armed to the teeth. Bibhishan was very distressed. Oh Lord, how is it that you can defeat such an enemy who is fully prepared and you so ill prepared as you are? How is it expected to gain victory, O Lord? And the Lord very simply said, this is very instructive. Lessons that our ancestors practiced and meaningful to us. Oh friend, that chariot of which you speak is of another kind. It's of another kind. It is not a physical chariot that really wins the battle of life. It is more than that. And so, in brief, let's look at this chariot. It is said, Sauraj Dhiraj Rathatehi Chaka. This chariot has two wheels. What are the two wheels? The chariot that we need to have, courage and bravery, which our ancestors displayed, undoubtedly. Sauraj Dhiraj Rathatehi Chaka. Satyashil Dir Dhwaja Pataka. Every chariot has a flag and an ensign. What was a flag and ensign they functioned under, that they fought the battle of life with? Truth and good conduct. Now, I'm not going to elaborate. You are intelligent people. You have to understand what truth is. You have to try to define what is good conduct. These two, the banner and ensign. There are 4 horses pulling this chariot. Bala Vivekadama, Parahita Ghori, physical strength. Our ancestors believed in physical strength. They believed in good health. Panagyandev spoke about diabetes. They came to plant sugar, and everybody got sugar. Diabetes. Good health is important. Physical strength. How can we face up to the battle of life if we are physically weak? And I speak of physical strength, not intestinal fortitude. Physical strength. Bal, Vivek, discriminative power. The ability to differentiate between what is real from unreal. We pray every day, Om Satoma Sadgamaya. From the unreal, lead me to the real. This is a Ganesh concept. We just saw Digi art, worshipping Ganesh. The philosophical basis of that is to inculcate Vivek, or discriminative power, in our hearts. The ancestors had that. Do we have it? Without that horse, where are we going? Bala Vivek, Dam, sense control. There are 5 senses of perception. The sense of hearing, sight, olfactory sense, tactile sense, and sense of taste. If I cannot control these senses, can I really achieve any victory in life? Weakness. The senses control us. We don't control the senses. This is one of the horses. Parahit, service to others. It is said, life is like a flower in full bloom. We should give it away, petals, scent, and all to that gardener who brought it into existence. How do I do this? Service to humanity, service to God. No selfishness. We sing the song, Nadi na piye kabhi apna jal, briksha na khaye kabhi apne phal. A river never drinks its own water. Fruit trees never eat their own fruits. That rose, even though the gardener plucks it from its resting place, it still gives scent to the hand of the gardener. Mother Nature teaches us selflessness as opposed to selfishness. And I ask you to ask yourselves, do we have this horse pulling this chariot? Or are we very, very selfish, self-centered? Everything is for me. I come first. Ask. Now we are talking about Indian arrival. We are talking about dharma. And these are the principles I am talking about we need to look at very, very closely. Our ancestors tried their best to maintain this. We need to continue. We are addressing ourselves. These are the four horses. And devotees, ladies and gentlemen, what would be the reins? Chama, Kripa, Samata, Rajujuri. Forbearance, gracefulness or compassion, even-mindedness. These are the reins that we're supposed to have. Others may be biased and prejudiced. Do I need to be like that? Do two wrongs make a right? Many times we get carried away and say, people against me, I'm going to fight them back. You have to know when to fight and how to fight. If you want to maintain dharma, for dharma protects those who maintain dharma. Samatha, no bias, no prejudices. It's part of spirituality, which continues to elude us. Every side you turn in society, check and see, everything is a bias or prejudice. Even when a man makes a statement, he makes that statement, and check, Panagandhi mentioned political season. The kind of rubbish you are hearing, small little nonsense they try to show, they bring it out for what? One-upmanship. Dishonesty. And they call that smartness. Sad. Check and see where we are going. So these are the reins, so to speak, the qualities we need to have to drive this chariot of dharma. Who the charioteer? Isha bhajan sarathi sujana. The attitude of relentlessly pursuing divine, relentlessly pursuing divinity. And I want to, again, refer to what Panagyandev said briefly when he made the introduction. How many of our people today are using the various practices we have for negative reasons, for self-projection, to make records? And many of us don't seem that we fall victim to it. Hanuman Chalisa. Why? Because 7 billion people in the world. Jo satabar paat kar joi chute hi bandi mahasukha hoi. 100 Hanuman Chalisa remove all problems. I'm not saying don't do 7 billion, you know. What is the intent behind it? And many of our people don't see this, you know. You say Hanuman Chalisa. When you go for Hanuman Chalisa, what is the focus? 10,000 people, boy. More people come than your Chalisa. Analyze closely. You may have exceptions. But what people are doing, they are not relentlessly pursuing divinity for divinity's sake. They are using all these upais, these various means we are given for selfish objectives, selfish gains. And many may not see it nor understand it, may disagree with me, which is your right. But I keep saying I don't talk by guess. Here, the attitude of relentlessly pursuing divinity. When our ancestors would sit after a hard day's work, they would sing their Ramayana, not for any ostentation, not for any impression, not to create any impact. It gave them consolation. It helped them to identify with their inner beings, which is what bhajan is supposed to be. That attitude is the charioteer. So I ask you, do you have the charioteer? Do you have the chariot at all? Rishi Santan, I speak to you, descendants of the rishis. Our ancestors came, brought all these things with us. Where are we in today's world? You need protection. Virati charma. The shield is dispassion, the ability to let go. Many of us can't let go. That's a different story. We cling on like leeches until we sink. But you have to have virity, dispassion. Dispassion is like a shield to protect us. Santosh Kripana, the sword that you fight with is the sword of contentment. What was the salary of our ancestors when they came down here? Next to nothing. Next to nothing. Many of us would have grown up in a home where one potato the mother gets, she has to feed a family of 10, 15. I'm sure, Panagyan, if you can remember all these things, maybe Pagash, yes? What mama would do, cut up that aloo, put it in a big pot of water, put masala. Yep, aloo running in water. But you can share that for the entire family. We eat it and we were contented. As we say, salt and rice people eat. Marrow and rice you eat, and there was contentment. And out of that, today where we are, many middle class, many upper class. But are we contented? Is contentment there? Santosho Nandanam Banam. We all want that peace, ecstasy, inner well-being. It can never come unless there's contentment. That is the sword with which we cut out. We cut off the head of desire, which will free us from bondage. This is dharma, the chariot we are creating. Dana Parashu, a charitable nature, is the axe with which we fight the battle. Bodhi Shakti Prachanda, the reasoning faculty, which in many cases, like the sun has gone down, set. It doesn't exist. Reasoning faculty, that, devotees, ladies and gentlemen, that reasoning faculty is the fierce lance with which you fight the battle of life. Varavigyan Kathin Ko Danda. And the bow that is used to fight is spiritual science. The understanding of the nature of the soul with the super soul. Amal Achal Manatron Samana. This inner equipment of the mind. Pure mind. A mind without baggage. Without baggage. No hate, no negativities. Kama, Krodha, Lobo, Moho, Mat, Marsir, Dilsang Yakao. Of overcoming all these negativities. That's a pure mind. Achal, unwavering mind. You fixed your mind on the path of spirituality and you unwaveringly pursue this pathway. We have Chanchal Man. Chanchal Man. Even as we sit here right now, the mind can be chanchal, jumping all over. How can we expect to win the battle of life? Amal Achal, Manatrona Samana. That mind is a quiver in which we place the arrows to fight the battle of life. What arrows? Samayamaniyam, Shilimukhanana. Devotees, you have Yamaniyam, forms of self-restraint, positive virtues. I won't elaborate on them. All these and all spiritual practices given to us by our scriptures, brought by our ancestors, done for the right objective. These are like arrows we're putting to the bow of spiritual science, as it were, to shoot at the enemy of materialism. And what is the armor that we cover ourselves with? Kavat Shabhe Vipra Guru Puja. Sri Ram said, "O Vibhishan, the worship of the holy ones, the genuine holy ones, the Brahmins, who are Karam Kandi, who live their lives, their blessings can protect you. Worship of your Guru, one's a Guru living a right life, of course. Ehi sam upay. Ehi sam vijay upay nahi duja. There is no other way for victory except through this." I want you to understand this. Why our ancestors were able to be so victorious over the years in spite of so many challenges. Sometimes brutalized, persecuted, prosecuted. But today, where we are, and what they have struggled for, because of the attitudes, the qualities. As I mentioned, it's not so much the chulha only, or the pukhani only, or the chimta only, or this, the form of dance, but the attitude, the values that accompanied these actions, which are eternal, hold good for all times. They may have had their challenges then. We have our challenges today. We don't have chulha, we have stove. We have electric stove. But you still have challenges. We all have challenges in various forms. And these qualities hold good for all times. Sakha dharma mai asrata jake jitana kahana katuri putaki. Oh friend, anybody who has in his possession such a chariot, nothing is difficult to achieve. No enemy can stand before him. Ladies and gentlemen, as a people we have many challenges. We continue to face the challenges in various forms, personally and collectively. Here, Ramayana has provided us with a solution. Each person can try to inculcate these values within yourself. And this is the chariot of Dharma, Dharma Rath. And when you have this chariot at your disposal, you know what? Success. Fruits will come. When actions are done today, the fruits come, we say tomorrow, meaning in time to come. Purnakal, Purna, complete. You lack nothing whatsoever. There are 4 fruits of human endeavor. Arth, Dharam, Kam and Moksha. Arth, Dharam, Kam and Moksha. Arth, material value in life. Dharma, ethical value in life. Kam, legitimate sensuous pleasures. Moksha, freedom from bondage. Purna, Purna, completeness. If I maintain my dharma in the right way, then everything comes to me. But you understand this. When they say kal, tomorrow, what it means? In one case, we say tomorrow never comes. You know why? Don't wait for tomorrow to do this. Do it now. जो कल करना सो आज कर ले, जो आज करना सो अब कर ले. Become proactive and begin to act now. Today's dharma will bring about tomorrow's fulfillment. Meaning what? You plant the seed, it will germinate, it will bear fruits, and success will be ours. So, I want to say to all of us that we are reaping the benefits of what our ancestors did. The dharma that they maintained. Now, life is like a relay. Every year we say this. Each generation had its leg to run. We have the baton in our hands today. Shankaracharya has gone. One generation has gone. We are now running the race. If we stumble and fall, what will happen to the next generation? We would have disappointed them and also the previous generation. And therefore, we need to make sure we don't do this. It's not fair. To justify the sacrifices of the ancestors, we must become proactive. And for this Indian Arrival Day, I want to ask all present, the very young ones, not so young ones, all of us present, let us understand. This is not just a case of dancing and singing and making merriment, and whatever else, and eating. All this is part of life. Yes, we enjoy them. But you know what? The deeper aspect of life, we must pay attention to. We are losing it. We are losing it. We are losing it quickly. And before very long, we will lose who we are and what we are. Because what is happening, our own people are taking our own scriptures and doing so many wrong things with them. But say what? It is said in Ramayana, that great Tulsidas ji, he said in Kali Yuga, even the Brahmins will be selling the Vedas. That doesn't mean they're going to open bookstore, They'll be speculating. And there are many who are not Brahmins. They also jump in the boat, doing the same nonsense, speculating in the name of religion. And this is, you know what I think? This happens only in Hinduism. Only in Hinduism. Only in Hinduism. I've spoken about this countless times. You ever hear any Muslim person do 100 kasida to raise funds? Or they do 108 hymns to raise funds? Hindus have to do 108 bhajans to raise funds. And many contribute, helping a worthy cause. Money becomes the God. We can go on and on. But I am saying to you people, wake up. Utajag musafir bhor bhai, ab rain kaha jo suvata hai. Jo suvata hai, so khovata hai. Jo jagat hai, so pavata hai. Waking will mean opening the eyes only, Waking up. Waking up. Arise from the sleep of delusion. Awake to the dawn of wisdom and understand where we are. Dharma is nothing something you could trifle with and play with and superficially believe you practice and expect things to work right. It would not. And I don't want to be a prophet of doom, devotees. I'm not a prophet of doom. I will be very practical. My experience has taught me a lot. And as I end, I always remember one verse I quote everywhere in Yagyas. I like it very much. Dharma implies action. You have to act. Dharma chetri kuru chetri. Yeah? In the field of activity, you have to carry out the dharma. But in the dharma itself, in the karma itself, so much scheme is carried out. And I remember the words of the late Pradeep Shankar. Koi lakh kare chaturai, karamaka lekhamete nari bhai. Congress have tried all kind of scheme, but in the right time, karmas come to the fore. The resultant action. Nobody escapes. You cannot rub off your karma. And you notice, in today's world, how many exposures taking place? Since last year, August, I informed one of my godsons, careful, at the time of exposure, God, you didn't take me on. Didn't take me on. And notice every single day that goes by, exposure. Who could hide? You could go to whichever corner of the earth you want to. Your karmas are going to follow you. As an analogy, when you let the young heifers go, the calves, they go to the mother. You know what happens? Each calf seeks out his own mother. Strange, eh? If it goes to the wrong mother, it will get a kick or two. Go and find your mother. We are like the mother cow, so to speak, and our karma is like the bachara. They come seeking us out, no matter where you go. If you think you could hide, fix up. If you think you could fool God, fix up. But I'll tell you one thing. In Hinduism, there is, according to mythology, a certain individual called Chitragupta. Chitragupt. They say he writes down everything everybody does. So many people think he's a fellow living somewhere in the sky. And everybody, whatever anybody does, write down. Hardev did that. Gandhi did that. Documenting everything. This is the age of computer. Perhaps he has a very high-level computer system. I don't know. And you believe in something like that, and then you could rub it off. But let me tell you something. You know where Chitragupta is? You know who Chitragupta is? Chitragupta is the recording ability of the mind. Listen to me carefully. Chitragupta is the recording ability of your mind. And every single person knows whatever you have done. Even in the darkest cloud of darkness, you would know that I did so and so. It comes back to haunt you. You may not want to express it to anybody else. But Chitragupta means the secret picture. You know it. Everybody knows. Either a man somewhere else. Everything is inside here. Yatha pinde tatha brahmandi. This is why dharma comes right inside here. So, ladies and gentlemen, let us not fool ourselves. Our ancestors were simple people, honest people, humble people. They may have made mistakes. They would pay the penalty for the mistakes. But let us remember this. Follow that pathway of dharma. Dharma phal, purnakal. If you expect fulfillment tomorrow, you better perform your dharma today. Blessings and many thanks to all. I want to say to all the organizers, to all the branches, centers, many blessings to you. Panitumarat, many blessings for the wonderful work you are doing. And to all the Pandas of Swaha, I encourage you to keep it up. This is wonderful. And please, just pay some attention to my advice. I really would like us to be proactive and try to get to the root of dharma. If we become dharmic, dharma protects those who maintain dharma. Bole Shri Swaha Mata ki.
Om Jai Swaha Mata.